Well, indeed, we're having a great time here on the Africa Global Radio. The Africa Daily Show is about to get very interesting on the discussion segment. This week, we've actually been looking at the girl child, and today we draw the curtains on the girl child discussion. It started on Monday. Now, I'm more than excited to introduce today's panel for the discussion, as it promises to be nothing short of enlightening, exciting, educating, and interesting. We have in the house a lot of people, great, wonderful people. On our panel, we have Aisha Hadir Adam, and she is the educational director of Iqra Educational Center, a wife, a mother of four. Aisha has worked with the Ghana Food and Drugs Authority, Golden Tulip Kumasi City, and she also happens to be the founder of the Iqra Education. Okay, the founder of Iqra Educational Center, and we have Splash Foods and Nifties. That's like a lot of things, a lot of amazing things in one pack. We also have we also have in the house Erasung Hadija Ahmed Is-hak, the founder and CEO of Myda Foods and Pitch with Myda. She's a woman who calls herself the naive, passionate entrepreneur. And she was the only female finalist in the Macdan Entrepreneurship Challenge, being shortlisted from 7,000 contestants. That's amazing. Well, Erasung was also interviewed as Forbes Woman Entrepreneur after her grand finale pitch on the Macdan Entrepreneurship Challenge 2020. Like, the house is just about to go on fire. On this show, we've actually been hearing and talking about women in tech and the impact that they are making. And today, we also have on the line Vera Schandorf, a Ghanaian who holds a degree in health and exercise science, and she has worked as a data analyst. Now, Vera has done several things and is currently the founder of Strengthening Africa Initiatives. And what it does is it equips girls in Ghana with the right tools to pursue careers in STEM. Well, a very, very good afternoon to all the ladies, in the house and those on the line. Good afternoon to all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have all of you in the house. Wonderful people. We're looking to have a wonderful, educative talk on this discussion segment. So, just about starting and looking at how everything has begun for us. We're here as women. That is the key and most important thing, something that we can all identify with. And it's something that I just want us to look at. What does feminism mean to you? I think we'd like to start with Aisha.
Okay. Thank you so much once again for the opportunity. It's a good time to have a conversation like this, especially when the Sunday that just passed was the International Day for the Girl Child.
Yes.
And this year, as we are all aware, the theme is My Voice, Our Equal Future. Now, when we talk of feminism, I think it's one of the words that has attracted a lot of controversy. Okay, it looks like when you talk about feminism or when you say you are a feminist, then it means you are against maybe the institution of marriage, or you are against women rising up. But for me, I think that when we talk about feminism, it's about identifying the unique role that every woman has to play. In our communities, we find women that play so many roles. Women are siblings, women are mothers, women are wives. Women are in the boardrooms, they are in the law courts, and everywhere that you can think of, women are there. So for me, it ties up to the theme that we have for this year, which talks about our voice. Okay, in the sense that if you call yourself a feminist, then it is about ensuring that both the male and the female are having equal voices, or their voices are being heard in each of these rooms, and not just limiting a particular sex to one kind of, maybe just the home, but all across. So that is how I see it.
Well, that is very great.
Yeah, for me, feminism, I would say people actually misuse the word, because for me, I see feminism to be like give us opportunity. That is just how I define it. Give me an opportunity to show you what I can do and do best. Because a lot of people use the word wrongly by making it look as if, okay, we are being arrogant. Or maybe if somebody has a voice and wants to be heard, you are seen as difficult or seen as too known, let me just say, which is very wrong. But for me, I rather see it as, okay, this is a woman who is willing to share herself to the world and also explain what she can do to the world and make it better and save society. So for me, going forward, this year's team has actually explained so much of it, and I think it's a good way of letting people know that if we are asking for space, we are just asking to serve. We are asking to be given an opportunity to make our communities or our society better, not just trying to rub shoulders with men or whatever our male counterparts are already doing out there. The world is a big place for us, and I know all of us can operate given an opportunity. So let's just hold hands and make it better instead of trying to make it look like, okay, this is better than this. Because in my home, I have boys and girls. I have two boys and a girl.
Wow.
But when you put them together, you can see that all three of them play separate roles that are like they contribute to make things happen.
Yes.
Sometimes even when I wasn't in, one of the guys needs something, they'll rather go and call the girl who is the elder and try pushing her to me to get those things done. So indirectly, it's like when we come together, we get things done better than we saying, okay, no, I'm a guy, so let me rather go to mommy. You get it? So it's a collaboration, not just a fighting of who is stronger or who is not stronger.
Indeed, it is a collaboration. Hello, Vera.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear us.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what does feminism mean to you? I mean, we've had the wonderful ladies in the house talk about it, and one thing, I mean, they've mentioned it's about a collaboration. So what does feminism mean to you?
Exactly. I couldn't agree any less with what the ladies have said. I definitely think it's about collaboration. And I think it's so important that we debunk this whole thing right here, right now about feminism, meaning that women are trying to be on top of men. And I think that's the first thing that comes into a lot of minds when they hear about feminism. And so people are quick to say, I'm not a feminist because it's been made to show as this radical movement where women are trying to be higher than men. And it doesn't mean that to me at all. For me, I think it's all about the equality, giving the same opportunities to women as are giving to men in terms of, financial, how we're paid at work, our educational opportunities, all
Hello?
on the same page, and there's equality in every aspect of it. And like the last lady was saying right before I got on, we all have different roles that we're playing at the end of the day, just like the body does. The hands is doing different thing, the head is doing different thing, but it's all coming together to allow the body to properly work. And it's the same thing with feminism, getting women on the same page as men. We're all playing different roles, but at the end of the day, we're not treated any equally, and we're all working together on the same level. Yes, that's what it means to me.
Indeed. Well, this is just the beginning of the show, and we've got a lot to learn. So, I mean, we've heard from the ladies what their takes on feminism is. Don't forget you can join us on the show on WhatsApp on +233-2070064680 with your comments, your suggestions. Also, you can watch us live on Facebook, Africa Global Radio, and you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Af Global Radio. Now, jumping straight to the next point, you know that when I was introducing you, I mentioned very key attributes. I mean, you're business owners. You're in charge of you own spaces, and you have people underneath you. People, not to say beneath you, but you're in charge of people as well. How did you manage to get to the top? Let me start with Aisha. How did you manage to get to the top?
It's a very important question for me, because usually as young people growing up, we need to identify that yes, we have a dream of where we want to be, but you would not just start and be there.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, leadership is more about serving, identifying that I want to serve in this particular space and making yourself available to serve. You should be ready and you should be humble to learn. I think that is what has gotten us to where we are today. Saying I want to serve, even starting a business, I need so and so amount of money to start a business. And sometimes you may never find that kind of money.
That's true.
I started a school 8 years ago and I had no school building. I remember when I told my old man I wanted to start a school. He said, where's your school? I said, I don't have. I'll start it as a weekend school.
Yeah.
And today I look back and I say, if I had not started, if I had not asked someone who already had a school, let me use your space and run a Saturday and a Sunday school. For 8 years, whoever has passed through that school that we currently call Iqra Educational Center possibly may not have had that opportunity, because till date, I cannot boast of a building of my own. So for me, leadership is about service. You just have to have that dream of where you want to be. See where you want to be. But don't wait to be there before you can serve or before you can impart. Start from somewhere. Start by giving. Start by serving. And people would buy into your dream and then help you to get to where you want to be.
People will buy into your dream and help you to get to where you want to be. Hadija.
Yeah. Well, how did we get here? That's interesting. You know, for me, this was just my personal experience. I had a child and eating was a challenge. And I felt like, no, there's a better way of me going about this.
Yeah.
I could try something with my own hands, and just right in my kitchen, I decided to do my own research and I developed a cereal. She did so well, and I was like, okay, then this works. And that was how I started. And every day it's been resilience, it's been determination to make it better. It's been the focus of feeding our people better and healthy. Because when I step out and I buy cereals, sometimes you realize that most of those that you actually will be willing to give out to your children are chemicalized.
Yes.
They have additives. They are imported, which we could do better. So I was like, no, this can be done in Ghana in a better way and in our own way. Because if we start feeding our young ones with our own cereals, like brown rice, soya, carrot, moringa, as they are growing, they become used to it. If I'm used to taking brown rice in my house, when I step out or even when I travel to any of the regions and there's only brown rice or soya in there, I'll be able to use it because I've grown liking and loving it, because it was turned into a porridge that I was used to even when I was a child. So that was just the passion, and we kept building on, and it's been amazing.
Well, it really has been amazing. We know, looking at the tech sector where Vera is concerned in the space of STEM, it's an area that is male dominated. Vera. Hello, Vera.
Yes, I am here.
Yes, it's an area that is male dominated. So I just want to say, how did you also manage to get to the top?
Okay, so me, I grew up in a household where my mom did not have the best of education. I think she went to school. I'm not sure if she even got to like class 6 to her. And growing up as a young kid, even before I asked the questions of, did you ever go to school? Really cared about just giving her kids the best education. If it meant signing up for extra classes, if it meant going above and beyond, to give us the best of educations. And when I first moved to the States, I got an opportunity for a scholarship, and it required me to do a project. Basically, I had to find a problem around the world and then create some type of a solution to it. And that is what STEM means to me. It's just problem, solution driven. It's about finding problems and solving them. And so along the way, I think I had support, a lot of support. I had mentors. I had, standing on my own faith. Being the Christian that I am, just having faith and knowing that I could do it, just really believing that the world can be a better place if we're all able to identify problems and start working towards solutions to those problems. And so I first worked on my project in 2014, where I had been out of Ghana for about 7 years then, and I returned and I worked on a water project in a village in the central region, Potomu. And I think that was a real eye opener for me, that a young girl who grew up in Tema, not really knowing much, traveled away, been gone for a long while, and being able to identify a problem and actually coming up with the solution. I think that was the moments for me. I remember the day when we had the inauguration, just standing there and reflecting on all of this and just knowing that, if we as at the time being a young person can think of something like this and come up with a solution. We can't be stopped. In as much as there are systems in place that almost seem to suppress us, or systems in place that cause us to maybe be scared of wanting to pursue, in the world of STEM, we can't let those hold us back. And regardless of what it is, I couldn't have done it by myself, like I said, having the mentors, having the family support, having, my faith and pursuing that, I think that was really it for me to get to where I am today.
Yes, but so would you say that it took much work to get there because you're a woman? Was the challenges, did you encounter challenges because you were a woman?
It's maybe I am just there's definitely certain challenges trying to get there, because right now I currently work in the architectural field, and we know that field is also really male dominated.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely the whole thing of, I think, how do I put it, I think um gender sensitivity, where there are a lot of things that cause you to feel like, what, maybe even things that are said by teachers, things that are said by, educationists, or things that are said by your colleagues that get you to kind of feel like maybe I don't qualify for this area, or maybe I'm not good enough for this area. But having, like I said, having the support that I have and knowing what I want, where I want to get, and what I want to do, definitely helped me, persist through it and get to where I am.
Well, that is important. So, Hadija, was there any extra effort? Did you say because I'm a female? Was there something like, oh, she's a woman, she's starting the business, this baby feeding thing? Well, were you met with resistance, resilience, hostility because you were a woman?
Not directly as I'll put it, but sometimes you go for pitch, for instance. For my brand, I started without knowing much about entrepreneurship. Nothing about entrepreneurship, realistically. So I eventually have to learn and then grow it myself. So sometimes you go for a pitch and it's like, okay, out of probably 10, you just get about 3 or 2 women in there. And it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll be like, so is this actually for us? But you're all going to either compete for same money, or they may even win or something. So that alone, it's scary. So for me, I didn't feel it that much because of I being a woman. Because if I'll say it's got to me, was because people felt that I was being difficult. Like you are being too known. Who are you? Like that kind of attitude. Like who are you that you are trying to do things, to make things happen? They just cannot understand where you are coming from.
They can't deal with the power of a woman.
That is it. So in that area, you are seen as being
a
threat. Some won't stand in your face and tell you that you are being difficult because you are a woman. Mm-hmm. But some of the things they say behind you, which you get to hear, it's like, okay, it's just because you are a woman, or it's just because you just want people to know you've done something, which actually not the case. Because if I am doing something, it's because I believe in it and I know it's going to serve a purpose and others are going to benefit from it. But they rather turn it the other way around, making it look as if, okay, if a guy was doing it, they would have probably accepted it more better. I remember I rolled out a project which was to get an ambulance for Upper West.
Okay.
And that was like a community project because we lost someone, and the idea was that we didn't have an ambulance. That was last year. So I said, okay, what can't we do? Because if we are on social media, we are talking about ambulance for Upper West, or maybe we are in our region crying, our people are dying because we don't have an ambulance. That was at that time. And you are just on social media talking about it. There's something you can do. So I decided, okay, let me hit up the road and then get my people for us to mobilize and get this ambulance. And what I realized was that people felt that I was being difficult in a way because they imagined the project to be run or managed by a guy. And people literally called me to get guys to front it, else I wasn't going to be successful with the project. Yes, that was what happened.
What?
That was what happened. And some, you walk into their office, after you turn, they are making comments like, if we couldn't do it, who told you can do it?
Okay.
So those were some of the things. But I felt that it wasn't about you not doing it. It's about the results we are going to provide.
That is very true.
And that was it. We were able to get the ambulance, and it came. I told them, okay, that was when we were in COVID season, the lockdown. I told them, okay, that's in hard. They were like, this girl, who are you? They didn't understand. But we are hoping by next month we'll deliver the ambulance, not to prove a point that we actually brought it, but for our people, we went on the street to raise funds to get it for them to be comfortable that, okay, we can do this, even if you are a woman or not a woman. It doesn't matter.
And I think that is going to be a motivating factor.
That is it.
I mean, to push them, the other women, the females who saw you start this, despite all the things you went through, will push them to believe that, okay, the next time there's another problem, they will not wait for the men or be drawn back because of the opposition they might face. Because once they have seen you have been able to achieve it, they will also push through and achieve it. Aisha, I know having a school is not one of the most easiest things to run. With children up and down, having to get teachers, and the whole management of a school is one big deal to handle. Being a woman, how hard? Did it in any way affect your resilience? Did it in any way deter you? Were you met with roadblocks because people labeled you as a woman?
I actually think that, yes, being a woman requires that you need to work extra hard. Because, one, the system and society expects so much from you, okay? You cannot just be a successful businesswoman. You have children who look up to you, okay? Their upbringing, you are expected to be pivotal in their upbringing. You cannot say, I'm a successful businesswoman, but I may not have time for my children. In the morning when they wake up, I'm already gone. And when they are going to bed, they still expect that you be there to read their bedtime story.
Yes.
Or you be there to at least feed them or something. I remember there was a day I had just delivered my third child, and I delivered today. The following day we were discharged, and when my husband came for me on my way, it was the end of the month, so I passed through the office to sign salary documents. And when they all saw me, they were like, "Madam, why are you here?" I'm like, okay, so because I have delivered, so
they don't expect you to be in the office.
You will not take your salary. No, life should still go on. At a point in my life when I had just had my last child, we practically had to relocate, leave our house, and go and live in my parents' house till my last child was 5. So that whilst I'm away, I can get not just the nanny, but at least my mom is around to keep an eye. Because I cannot say I have failed with my children because I'm a successful businesswoman.
Yeah.
I will still need to make time for the other things. I will still need to keep my home. I would still need to make time for my husband, make time for my children. I am a sibling. I am a sister. I am an auntie. You know, the list is endless.
It's endless.
So for me, I believe that we need to accept that as women, we need to put in more effort to get what we want.
Yeah.
Once we have accepted this, let us look around. What kind of support systems can we get? It is not wrong for somebody to help you wash.
Yeah.
There are certain things you will not make someone do for you, like maybe cook your husband's food.
Yeah.
If it gets to a point someone has to cook your husband's food, it doesn't mean you don't love your husband. People think, oh, those in the teaching industry, oh, by 2, teacher there by 2.
Wow,
you are closed. You are home. But
That is
sometimes
true.
I'm in the office till 7 p.m. Because there are certain things you need. If you want to do it and do it well, unless you just want to, just do anything and get away with it.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it well, you need to put in the man hours. And you need to show by leadership that you are here to put in the man hours. That would inspire the people that you lead. But if it's 2 p.m. and you take your bag and you are out and you expect that they will stay till 5, so yes, we need to go the extra mile, but it's possible. Let us accept that we call ourselves super women, but look, you are still human. Where you need support, especially with the men, sometimes we don't even open up. A man feels like if she needs help, she'll ask for it. You'll be surprised how much, to the extent that the men are ready to go for us. If only we ask. But sometimes we get there and we are sad and we are like, he didn't even help me to do this. And he didn't even put the rice on fire. Did you ask him to do it? You see, based on our upbringing, the men may not be used to doing things like
such
this.
things, yes.
But if you, the woman, make him know that, look, you are very important to me.
Yes.
And all this that I am doing, if you had not given me the support, I won't be able to do it.
That's true.
Because you are my man. If you don't believe in my dream, who else will? So once you make them and you make them feel special, if I'm in my office and my husband walks in, I get up and I welcome him. It doesn't matter what I am doing. I make him feel important and
That's
he's
the
ready to
spirit.
give me the support.
That is true. That is the spirit. I mean, recently I saw a friend of mine wrote something that it's not a sin to seek help when you need help. Because she realized she was at the place where she had about 3 kids. She had a very demanding job. And there's an issue with having help in the house to do some of the chores. So she was contemplating, should I not get? If I get, there'll be criticisms, there'll be issues. But here she was stretching herself thin. She couldn't meet all the demands, the husband, the children, and the office job. One point was definitely going to suffer. So I'm very happy you've been able to mention it and put it out there that if you need help, seek the help. Indeed, if you need help, seek it. Now, there've actually been, serious and intense campaigns for equal pay for work of equal value. I mean, it wouldn't be new to say we've had setting systems where women are doing the same job with men, but then the men get paid higher than the women, although they're doing the same thing in the same field. Now, have you in any way, indirectly or directly, have you experienced this gender inequality when it comes to pay? Let's start with Hadija. I like the way she's so calm.
For me, how will I put it? Equal pay. It's the system. I'll say it's the system we are in, which is very unfair, kind of. I've been working as a public servant, and I think that's one, the system decides how much you are paid based on your promotion or your grade or something. Yeah. So with that, I haven't felt much of it. But with my work as in Myda Foods, as we are working, we actually we are paid based on commission. So once you come to work and we produce, you are paid based on the hours you have put in, whether you are a male or a female. If we go for a sales exhibition, it's also paid same. So we've really not have much of that. But I'll say that out there, a lot of people are facing some of these things because it's either, okay, probably the man has used so much energy to do certain works. I remember growing up, I was involved in this, I love to own my own money, kind of. So each time I try to do something, they were having this building projects. I decided to go and carry the mortar.
Okay.
Yes. And by the end of the day, they will line you up to pay you. But it was like, okay, you are paid based on your energy.
Yeah.
Which I felt it was a cheat because we virtually did the same building together. If it was the mortar I carried, just like the other guys of my age were also carrying. So I expected us to be paid equally. But it was like, no, he was going more faster and that kind of thing. So I said, no,
Really?
this is a cheat. But that was because I was much younger and I couldn't have argued much for it. Yes. If it's today, the former will get a different a different label.
Reaction. That is true.
Yes. So that was it. It depends on the role and the kind of work and where you identify yourself. That's some of these things play.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Aisha, have you experienced any of this? I mean, in any way, have you been given less pay, and then whilst you're doing the same job with a fellow colleague, because he's a man, he gets more and then you get less?
Okay. I want to come into this conversation with a certain dimension, in the sense that as women, let us accept that we get paid for what we do.
Yeah.
We do not get paid because we are women. Why do I say this? I perfectly agree that every woman should get equal pay. Bear in mind, the moment we talk about equal pay, it means work is equal.
Yeah.
We sometimes love to give excuses to ourselves because we are women. I am a woman, so I cannot get to work at 8 a.m. I have 5 children, so I cannot be in the office all through. Today, my daughter is sick. Tomorrow, my son is this. I have to see my in-law. And we keep giving ourselves excuses. If you make your mark at the workplace, wherever you find yourself, that is part of the crusade to ensure that every woman gets equal pay. So in as much as we talk about the equal pay, let us walk the talk. When you are in there, when you employ a woman and she is in your business, it should not be a liability. I have 120 staff and less than 20 are males. So you can imagine, and most of my staff are between the ages of 20 and 40. They are in their reproductive stage. And in the beginning when they come, you hear stories, and I have to go this, and today I woke up and I have cramps, and there is always an excuse why they cannot do as is expected. And I keep telling them, and thankfully now, for people who work with me, they have come to accept. I said, look, there is nothing wrong for you to decide you want to keep your home. There is nothing wrong for you to decide that I am educated, but I want to stay home and take care of my children. You are a domestic engineer. Put it on your CV. Put it on your card. There is nothing wrong with it. But once you decide that aside contributing to my home, I want to work out there, give off your best. If you think you need to take 5 years off your childbearing stage and then take care of the home and be a domestic, it's fine. But once you put in an application and you are given a job, deliver. Deliver. Don't make them feel like, she just returned from maternity leave and within 3 months she's pregnant again. She has morning sickness and she's all over and she's going for another. In a year, you are going for 2 maternity leaves.
Well, that indeed is a serious situation. Vera, do we still have you on the line?
Yes, you do. Yes,
okay,
you do.
Okay, so the campaign
it's so interesting.
Yes, you were saying something.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, well,
no, go ahead, please.
The campaign for financial empowerment and equal opportunity is actually ongoing. Now, I just want to find out, do you think that this has influenced females venturing out as solo entrepreneurs? I mean, are there more barriers for women who choose to set up their own businesses?
Because of that?
Yes.
I don't think... I would definitely agree that I think it has encouraged a lot of women to, venture out and quote unquote be their own bosses. It's so interesting listening to Aisha saying everything that she was saying. I couldn't agree any less. I think that usually when women go into the workforces, you have some women who are like, I am here to do the job and I am coming 100% and nothing is going to stop me, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to make it and all that. Now here in the States, I know there are jobs where when you go in, and I'm not sure exactly how it is, they ask you, how much do you want to get paid? And that question is always a little tough, because it's like, do I go very high or do I go low? And I think that just like Aisha was saying, sometimes which would you like to get? I might get pregnant in a year. I might take time off. Maybe because of my kids, I can't stay and work as much, all of that. So maybe if I go so high and I ask for $50 an hour, maybe I'm not going to be able to work to meet that $50 an hour that I'm asking for. So maybe I should set myself low. And I'm not saying that women are setting themselves low because of that, but because there are systems in place where some jobs will just not pay women, as much as men for whatever reason. And that's why it's so important that this equal pay act is in place and it's talked about all over the world. I do believe that it has definitely encouraged a lot of women to venture out and be their own bosses, because if I am my own boss, then I can decide my own pay and decide my own hours. I can set things around what works for me, rather than working under someone or working under maybe a male dominant organization where I'm constantly going to be, almost looked down upon. I'm actually going to harder than what I'm being paid for, or where my worth is not seen. And so I think in a way it has helped a lot of females want to branch out and do their own thing. And I think entrepreneurs and women starting their own businesses has been so great. I think it's getting people to think of problems around the world and come up with solutions for that. It's enabled people to think of new ideas of things that, maybe I can start and I can work on. And it's actually even created more job opportunities, because rather than going to, fight for a job where you have 20 other people looking for that job, now I can start this one thing. And so the maybe 19 other people who could have been unemployed are now being able to, start their own businesses and come up with something. And I think it also serves as inspiration for other people, because if I'm sitting here and I see Aisha or I see Khadija their own things and doing their own things. Maybe it was because of equal pay at some point. Maybe it was because of whatever reason. Now I'm seeing them and I'm looking at myself. Maybe I'm a younger Vera and I'm looking at them like, you know what? They did it. I can do it too. And now we have a bigger pool of women, branching out there and finding solutions to issues and starting new wonderful opportunities and starting new wonderful businesses that are inspiring so many other people.
Yes,
And so yes, maybe that has caused people to do that, but it has also helped it be more positive. And the act needs to continue to to have voices be heard, and
yes.
so we can get to a
Well,
place where women are paid equally as
unfortunately,
men.
our time is almost run out. I mean, we'll still have to bring our wonderful discussion to a close. We have a book that has actually been written, and as much as I would really like to throw more light on it, I would leave that to the specialty of Mamiaba Amwaminta. So she's gonna let our audience know about a book that has actually been written by one of our wonderful guests in the studio. So as much as I wanted to ask Hajia to, pardon me if I call you Hajia. I think it's my I'm just used to saying that
I
Hajia. It's
get
nice.
you.
Yes, I wanted to ask her to throw more light on it, but due to our time constraints, I'll let my co-host Mamiaba, when she comes, she will throw more light. It's an invitation, so it's a special invitation we have. So she'll throw more light on it. I want to say a big thank you to all of you. I mean, for joining us. But a quick question. I mean, before we just move, what would you want to say? Your just final words, and you have this in under like 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes. Your final words to any woman who's listening to you out there. Let's start with Hajia.
For me, I'll tell every woman listening to believe in yourself, understand your purpose. Once you get to understand your purpose and you believe in yourself, those are the keys you need to be better and to make things better wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you too, Aisha.
Yes, I would also want to encourage every woman out there that keep moving. There are times you will crawl, there are times you would be on your belly, there are times you would run, there are times you walk. Just ensure you keep moving to impact the community you find yourself.
Okay, and Vera, very quickly, what would you want to tell any lady out there who's
Okay.
listening to us?
Yes, I wrote something short today, and I'll just read that. I said, today I woke up at dawn and I was going through some old emails. They had me reflecting on younger Vera. She was so fearless. She grabbed on every opportunity that came her way. She made many connections and was such a go getter. She traveled to many places and entered corridors. Back. She thinks back on now. She thinks back like, how in the world did that happen? Today I'm grateful for all those opportunities. I look back and I won't rewrite my life story any other way. Young lady, young man, don't let anything or anyone stop you. Keep moving. God's got you. So that's what I'll tell anyone listening
Oh,
right now, especially the young one. Young lady, keep moving. God's got you.
thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. I mean, those who made it into the studio, and for Vera for joining us on the line.